Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Evolve Point, a Shadowverse podcast and your one-stop shop for everything Shadowverse related. If you're wondering why my mic is worse than usual, that's because I'm recording from an iPad in my hotel room. And actually, I'm not even the one recording. Tonko is recording. Hello.
Igni is speaking to a toaster right now. But yes, I am the one. I'm the one recording and also editing this time, which is the reason why this episode is probably going to be a couple days late.
No! Can't you do it on the same day like I usually do?
I gotta go to bed, bro. I got work in the morning.
Oh, that's true.
Like I physically have stuff I gotta do. It's not just me being lazy. I physically have things, but I'll get this out as soon as possible.
I always forget about the time difference. And also, here we have Lord Kalen.
I'm still suffering the Australian debuff. It might be terminal.
I think it might be permanent, you know.
Chronic,
Did you at least get any, like, good traits in exchange on the character creation screen?
Oh, it's a monkey's paw. I can't talk about it. There are some downsides.
Does it involve just getting hit on by men?
Yes.
Yeah.
No way.
I think I have that.
I have that debuff too.
That happens to me too.
Yeah, but that's because you're cute, Petty.
Yeah.
How do you explain mine?
You're tall.
You're tall.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I am the official ambassador for Shadowverse Evolve English Edition, caster, content creator. Tonko streams Portalcraft, and Caitlin moderates the subreddit for Shadowverse, in case you were new here and wondering who are these people. Yeah, let's get into the news.
Wait, aren't we supposed to do the thing of like, oh, what did you guys do this week? Oh, what did you guys do this past week?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been in Japan. That's what I've been doing.
That's pretty much like what half of this time podcast is going to be. Igni talking about his things in Japan.
I've got a lot to talk about, and they're all Shadowverse related. So it's not just me going like, oh, here's my travel vlog. No, it's actually all Shadowverse related.
It's not just Igni flexing. He does have some interesting Shadowverse experiences over the past week.
Mm-hmm. And Kaylin, what about you?
I've been playing an Elden Ring seamless co-op playthrough, and on the side, Dark Souls 2, trying to get every achievement in that. It's been going great. Multiplayer in that game is alive and well, and actually so fun.
Way Does this guy even play Shadowverse, Tonko? Like, I've never heard him say that he's...
I've been playing plenty of Shadowverse. I just hit 12,500 ranked wins today.
Nice. And Tonko, what have you been up to?
To be fair, like, Kaden, he always talks about his Dark Souls playthroughs. I always talk about my gacha games. I straight up did not have the energy to do anything over this weekend, so I figured... no streams, I'm just gonna rest and play Blue Archive the entire time.
Yeah.
I just sat down and watched, I just marathon the whole Blue Archive story mode, and it's actually genuinely good. It's so good.
Between you playing Blue Archive and me being in Japan, I saw a tweet from Saturn 5 Live, another Shadowverse streamer, saying, why am I the top streamer for February? Where is everybody? Just because everybody else is on a break. Right?
That's true.
That's pretty good.
Good for him. Good for him. Saturn is he's such a cool bro. He's the nicest guy. He's also Australian.
Yeah. We're rare in the community. I only know like 4 people.
He suffers the same debuff as well.
So you can turn it into a benefit if you know how to manipulate the Australian debuff. Just don't go outside in the summer. If
you understand the build, you can play around it.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Saturn 5 Live for being the top Shadowverse streamer on Twitch in February. That's the first bit of news, I guess. But moving on to other pieces of news, of course, the Resurgent Unlimited Cup has ended and the winning decks were added to the game. Kaylin, you mind going over them for us?
Yep, I'll pull that up. Forest Craft, we have Hozumi Combo Forest. That is the variant running Oberon, Durja, and I believe that's about all that matters in the deck is Hozumi, Oberon, and Durja. That's just Hozumi. I hate that deck. I hope it dies.
Yeah, that's really not a surprise.
For Swordcraft, we have Combo Swordcraft, which is a deck featuring pretty much at the center of it Swift Speed Quick Blader. The rest of the cards, spells, amulets, just trying to get that Swift Speed Quick Blader up to maybe over 10 damage and pull out an OTK with that, as well as Loot Sword, which obviously Loot Sword's going to be around. The impressive part about the current Loot Sword deck that won the Unlimited Cup is only one Barbaros. I'm not sure if that's standard or not.
Oh yeah,
Only
it
one
is standard.
Barbaros.
So an unlimited loot sword plays completely differently. Where what you do is you get the 7 fused or played loots. You play Barbaros way before turn 7, and then you recover the play points, and then you put it back in the deck with Dramatic Retreat, and then you pull it out for 0 play points, recover more play points, and then you play a ton of flags plus Gunner because you recovered a lot of play points from 0 cost Barbaros, and then you OTK on like turn 6 with.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I cannot believe there's not just one, but 2 Swordcraft builds in Unlimited.
I can absolutely believe it. Sword's always been consistent and Unlimited.
It's not like it's not the super sacky one, but like Loot Sword, ever since like people figured out you can Dramatic Retreat Barbaros, has been like occasionally showing up on like SV wins and stuff. So turns out just 0 cost Barbaros is good, but like again, I mean, to be fair, last time we looked at the results of a GP and we saw like 5 different artifact or like different portal builds rather.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't exactly prove that the class is in a good state in the format.
The winning deck lists just show that there was at least one person on the planet that won with this deck.
You know what? Good for them.
It's a measure to see what kind of different builds you can consider, not necessarily what's meta, but what's playable.
All right, next up.
Over in Runecraft, for one of the decks, we have Burn Earthright Rune. That is running Orichalcum Golem, Forbidden Dark Mage, Sweet Defender Golem, and Pascal.
Yeah,
as
that's
well
really
as
not surprising.
the Undying Witch and Superior Conductor or Contractor in the early game, or eventually the OTK. It's a pretty consistent deck. Doesn't run Golem, which, I mean, take it or leave it. I'd say.
I think it's the best deck in Unlimited, if you ask me, frankly. It's just like it has all.
Could be.
I think
it's got the entire toolbox. Yeah,
I think Dirt is the most versatile overall, where it can be very aggressive, but also it can pivot into being more of a control build as well too.
It's also got like
a lot
huge
of cards.
combo OTKs, and like you can make giant boards with Pascal.
With
you can
a lot of decks
with Orichalcum. Yeah.
You can't get over a 16/20 Sweet Defender Golem. It's just too big for some decks in Unlimited, which is surprising.
And even if they do spend all of their resources dealing with that massive board, then the turn after you just Dark Mage and you win anyway. So like, I feel like that deck just has everything, honestly.
Dark Mage has got to be one of the best cards in Unlimited. Like, flat out, it can stop OTKs as well as being an OTK. Really good card.
Get you a man who can do both.
Runecraft also has D-Shift Rune. Obviously, D-Shift will never die. It's just that good of a card. Running Arctic Chimera, which is I'm not sure what that
I have
does
seen
exactly.
I have seen that.
Arctic
Yeah,
Chimera is just used as a combo with Familiars Pact, because if you Familiars Pact, you only get Arctic Chimera, and then you can Arctic Chimera for the Accelerate, and that's just 2 draws for two 1 play point spells. So it's 2 boost, 2 draws on 2 separate procs. So it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a removal you can use against Blood as well too.
Yeah, so D-Shift will pretty much always be an Unlimited unless Cygames do something about it.
Oh, let's be honest, like, the Unlimited community has sort of stopped recommending D-Shift for new players because it's not even the best rune deck anymore. It's like a second fiddle to Earthright. But yeah, it'll always be playable, I think.
Yeah. Over in Dragoncraft, Discard Dragon got a win. Lumior Phoenix Roost variant. So
yeah, that's a great deck.
Yeah.
Absolutely cheats out play points.
Yep. Fantastic deck, especially since you can also get the Lumior off of Terra Finis, I think, right? No, sorry. Wait, can you? No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of a different deck that I was playing that can get Zoe out of Terra Finis. Yeah.
This card is one of those decks that
pretty.
You don't. It's one of those kind of decks where you don't see it very often on ladder, but it kind of just works. It's not amazing, but it's hilarious how much it works.
It's a little bit feast or famine, though, because if you don't get the Roost exactly, like ramp into Roost into Lumior, then it's like, and then the Altered Fate after that, like, But like, it's consistent enough that you can definitely win like 5 in a row with it.
Yeah,
sure.
it's funny.
Dragon also has Armed Dragon.
What?
which is
What?
moderately surprising for Unlimited because you still think Armed Dragon is a rotation deck, even though most of its cards are
Wait,
rotation.
how? Wait, what is that? What is that list? I don't have the game pulled up right now because I'm in a hotel room, so I don't, but like, what is that?
To be honest, it's a really standard Armed Dragon list, though it does run Rivalian Bandit, which you can arm on turn 2, maybe even arm 2 on turn 2. Get that out, and that would be up to a 2/4 on turn 2.
So
What?
yeah, I guess you just use it for even more aggro. That's funny.
Yeah, it's quite aggro.
Okay.
Otherwise, Wandering Chef gives you a bit of healing in the deck.
My name's
True,
Chef.
yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Emissaries to draw the Levantine Dragon. That would have been great back in when Levantine Dragon was meta.
Wait, this is
Otherwise,
kind of
it's
cooking.
really,
I gotta steal this one.
it's just really standard. It's just a really standard Armed Dragon list outside of, I'd say, Wandering Chef, Rivalian Bandit, and Dragon Emissary. Those are the only cards that you didn't see in the deck before.
That guy cooked.
Dude,
That guy
those
actually cooked.
Rival neutrals, they just always occasionally just pop up randomly in Unlimited even to this day. Because I've played several aggro builds from several different classes that use those cards.
Now, you said he cooked, but the third Dragon deck that won the GP
There's a third.
was a Dragon Plate Warrior Roost deck.
Oh,
Dragon
yeah, I covered
Plate
that on my
Warrior.
channel.
Oh, mate, that's a card. Just a deck filled with Roosts and Dragon Plate Warrior.
That's the deck that I was talking about earlier when I was talking about Terrafinis pulling Zoe. So
yeah, that would be the deck. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, Kaylin, I'm more surprised by the Arm because I actually already made a video on this one that you're talking about.
Now you know the next video.
Baby.
You know the next video when you come back.
Yeah, I'm playing Armed when I get home.
It does look like a tight list. Over in Shadowcraft, Grimoire Shadow, no surprise. Deathly Tyrant's a really, really good card just because you're able to consistently get up to 20 shadows before turn 6 in Unlimited. There's just that many shadow generations, especially with Burial, right?
Grimoire is also one of those. Grimoire is also one of those kind of cards that's always going to be a thing in Unlimited.
Yeah, it's just so easy to do it now as well because like the deck has so many invokes that you not only up your burial count and your shadow count because you're doing all those burials, but you're also invoking so much that your deck count is getting thinner and thinner every single turn, which makes your Grimoire even faster and faster to activate every time a new invoke is printed. So yeah.
The second Shadowcraft is also a Grimoire Burial Rite deck using Deathly Tyrant, just a different flavor of the list. Very similar, but not quite the same.
Okay, that's kind of lame that they put into basically the same.
Yeah, I thought
they are very similar.
I thought they typically only do one list for each archetype, unless if they just came up with a slightly different name for this other list.
Yeah. And for the final Shadowcraft deck, it's Atomy, the Death at the Party variant. It doesn't surprise me. Garurul is actually a surprise, I would say. Haven't really seen him run in Atomy before, but I haven't played the deck in a couple months.
I've seen Garurul Atomy, but like not in a long time. I think the last time I saw it was before it got nerfed.
Interesting.
Well, it's been
so just Garurul to cheat out neutrals and then Atomy it. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. You cheat out neutrals like Freya. Freya could actually make Garurul free if you have more evolves than your opponent as well.
And I guess that's relevant now too because Atomy now costs 1 instead of 0. So you do want that recovery from Freya.
Really did change the consistency of the deck. It basically made it so you couldn't turn 3 Atomy unless you didn't get a particularly good Atomy off in the first place.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Over in Bloodcraft, we have Festive Bloodcraft, which is just Handless by another name. Although, shockingly, having 3 seductress vampires and 2 Galm.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just want to draw the seductress vampire because, once you invoke it, or draw it rather, it's just -1 to your hand, which is what you want in Handless. And it activates your Skull Freedom Raiders and your what's her name? The one with the big boobies.
Which one?
Steve Marone?
Yeah. Oh no. Some lists run also the 4-cost one, but yeah, they just
Galvan, yeah.
But yeah, it just makes a lot of sense because one, it's -1, and then if you just draw the other ones, you can simply discard them with all your other cards in your deck. So yeah, there you go.
And it enables even more damage for an aggro deck. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the morons. I do believe that's how you pronounce it.
I don't think it is, but let's move on.
The second Bloodcraft deck is Vengeance Wrathblood, which there's not really any vengeance in this deck. It's just named that. It's a vengeance deck running Valnarek, Flaros, Bloodsucker, Diabolus, and Knights of Purgatory. It's a pretty consistent. Yeah, it's a pretty consistent Wrath deck. Does quite well, and with Flaros, he can absolutely shut down a lot of decks if he comes out on turn 3, especially backed up by a Knight of Purgatory. Bloodsucker is able to get through pretty much any board on its own. And running Bloodsucker and Vania can create some insane damage if the game goes too long.
I think like we're in Unlimited, like I think Earthright is generally the best deck, but Wrath and Burial Rite are the biggest gatekeepers for anybody trying to build a list, because they also feel like so overrepresented on ladder too, personally.
Over with Havencraft, there is a Bellerophon Haven, which is the Kel OTK flavored deck where you just heal up, get some good heal effects on your leader, like Bellerophon and Guide of the Virtuous and Smile Cure Priest, and then Kel for the kill. I got a lot of ranked wins with that back in the day.
Yeah, you basically just repose and sit for like most of the game, and then you instantly win after that.
Which is why so many decks run ways of getting rid of repose.
But repose is like, it doesn't even the effect doesn't even go away if it gets destroyed. Like, so
yeah, it's a leader effect. So even if you destroy a repose, you just play another one anyway.
It's like the best Nilpotent is repose for sure.
Second control. The second Havencraft deck, being Control Haven, also doesn't surprise anyone. It's a Holy Saber variant with a single Bahamut you can recycle over and over again in case the game goes that long. Runs Gilman Elise, which is obviously a pretty much auto win if both players get to 10 play points. Realm of Repose obviously keeps you alive quite long. Yukari even keeps you alive even longer. It's just a really good control deck, but not too consistent in ways of killing the opponent, just making them want to quit.
Is there Yatalan in this? Or?
Yes, the third deck is Yatalan Haven
with
Garuda for the turn 5 massive damage, usually slamming down a Garuda on turn 5, dealing 12 damage, swinging 12 health back. It's an incredibly powerful deck.
Apologies, I just moved on so quickly because I was like about to fall asleep with you talking about Control Haven. Just thinking about
there wasn't a lot to talk about though.
Dude,
thinking about Control Haven
every time every time when I'm fighting against Haven, if it's not City of Gold, I just assume, oh yeah, it's Heal Haven. I think I can handle Heal Haven. And then it's Control instead. It's like I get smokescreen into Control Haven instead. And I'm just like, oh, I guess I just sit here.
You're just like held hostage for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, this is a controversial thing, but I actually like Yatalan, so I'm kind of happy
that is incredibly controversial.
He's fun!
I can't stand how much of a swing he is in power at only 7 play points and cheated out for 5.
Honestly,
Gold is good.
I kind of good. I don't really mind Yatalan at 7. It's the fact that City of Gold cheats it out now that really pisses me off. Like, City of Gold is the reason why I just gave up on Unlimited again. I made that clear in previous episodes.
It's so good. It's so good.
I didn't think it would still be good.
I will love City of Gold enough to overcome the hatred coming from you two.
I mean, I used to play a lot of City of Gold back in the day before it got nerfed, so it's like my past is coming back to haunt me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hetty, would you be able to commentate the Portal Craft decks?
I don't have it up on me right now, but
okie doke. We have Resonance Portal, which is
Let's go!
all about Yuan and Kasim just burning down your opponent. And if it comes down to it, at the late game, if you make it as far as the late game, aka turn 7, Magna Zero comes down and just does like 20 damage. It's
pretty is it the one with the Robopup to cycle and evolve, or is it the one with Birth of the Ravenous, because I know that there's a bit of a divide in the
There's a
community.
divide? What? That's
I
new
would
to
say
me.
Okay, so
I've seen the Birth of
artifact
the Ravenous
version is a bit
variant.
more sacky, and the one with the Birth of the Ravenous is more consistent because Birth usually represents 2 or 3 resonance procs at least in one single card. And some people even run the Shin spell because it adds resonance like twice as a 1 play point spell, which you
This
can weave
winning
into
deck
anything.
does not run Shin. It does not run Birth. It's all about those artifacts with Spinaria, Robopop, and Biofabrication.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have the list up on me right now. I do agree with the idea of Ravenous in a sense that I hate going for the high roll in Resonance Portal. Like, yeah, the dog combo is really, really strong, but there's so many individual pieces you need for it to go right. But I really do like the addition of Evolve payoffs in Resonance Portal with the dog variant. Because I see the one Grimnir in here. Grimnir is actually really funny. You can play Grimnir 10 damage on turn 4.
Grimnir is such a strong card. He's using like almost every deck that revolves even a little bit. They run one Grimnir just in case. So
yeah, and I personally am partial to Shin. Shin actually feels good. Who would have thought that Shin would feel good again with Robopop back, with Robopop back by its side.
Impressive.
If you want me to link you the Birth of the Ravenous Shin list, I'll hook you up. I'll get you on that.
I mean, do I really want to try Unlimited again? I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's up to you. All right, is there other Portal decks?
Yeah, 2 more. We've got Artifact Portal, which is a very similar deck, just with a completely different second half of the deck revolving around Vera Demila with Vera Media. The synthetic
Vermidea?
Dude,
That's the one.
how do you read anything?
Genesis Artifact, gotta be one of my favorite cards. Oh,
Yeah, that's a great card.
Fion, Spinaria, Lazuli, Kaiser, and Mobilized Factory. It's a pretty good deck, but you need to have that high APM.
Yeah, this is more specifically Rainbow Portal Craft, where you focus on getting the 6 names for Genesis. But like, Genesis is still nerfed though. That's the reason why I'm not playing this build, because Genesis is still nerfed. You only get 1 copy of the cannon still.
I love Genesis, but it does not deserve to get unnerfed.
Yeah, honestly, they should have brought back. They should have unnerfed Genesis instead of bringing back Shin, in my opinion.
It
It
literally placed really highly in Unlimited tournament like not that long ago. Do we really want to unnerf Genesis?
Yeah, for me, just for me.
Just for you for one day, for your birthday, we'll unnerf Genesis.
Dude, every time I see Mobilized Factory, I'm like, man, I know it's augmentation, but can you afford to play the factory on 5? Like, I know that you can set up 0-cost artifacts on the same turn you play factory, but it's so
5, does it? Like,
it's such a
it's like way better. It's like,
well, yeah, but just in general, like just surviving that long just does not feel good against most matchups.
If you happen to have the SLHRM up before you Mobilized Factory, you can have negative cost artifacts on turn 5, which obviously has to be a part of the deck.
Yeah, that's what you want to be doing. But
yeah,
this build also plays the Shion, the old Shion with XL3. So this plays like the old classic artifact without augmentation. It's trying to relive the glory days, but for me personally, it's very difficult to pull that off. Maybe I'm just bad though.
What's the final deck?
Finally, for Portal, it's very similar to the last 2 decks, but for entirely different reasons. It's Evolve Portal, running Robopop, probably the best Portal Craft card, maybe, or Nippletent Entity. That could be the best as well, or maybe
Nippletent.
Nilpotent. Yes.
Dude,
Nippletent. Check the tapes.
Okay,
I run it back.
This might be a controversial
busted cards.
This might be a controversial take as a Portal player, but Nilpotent Entity is mid. Like every time, dude,
it actually, like, it's unlike Repose. When it gets removed, you actually don't keep the effect, and
yeah, and like most
also costs half Repose and lasts 1 turn longer.
But most matchups, I feel like in most matchups, Nobitin doesn't even help because most decks do chip damage, not big burst damage. So every time I try to play Nobitin to survive, it's fake. It doesn't help me at all. Like Shion, the new Shion
model is still Shin.
The new Shion does a better job of protecting against most matchups. But anyway, oh my god, Shin, hi, we were just talking about you.
Hi, Shin.
Yeah, you got tons of different Shins you can play now. Just put them all in there.
You got Shin, you got Kashim, you got... Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I was talking about, where it's like Pup, a resonance package, but you get the evos for the payoffs like Shin and Grimnir. This is probably my favorite unlimited portal build. It's okay. It's all right.
Does this one run Resolve of the Fallen? Because that's like my favorite spell in the game.
It doesn't, but it should.
That's messed up.
Yeah, Resolve is so good.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next news topic. This is a pretty short one.
I think one thing to take away from the winning decks is Forest only had one winning deck. Every other class had 2 or 3.
It's because it's the one that's the only one that's good.
Yeah, there's no other variants worth playing.
All right, so this is a pretty short one, so I'll just blaze through it. Season 90, top 1K and top 10K rewards distributed. The usual packs, vials, globes, flares for people who did well. And Season 91 started. You guys get your packs?
I got my packs. From Unlimited, not rotation, because I just didn't like rotation this month. Or last month, I suppose.
I don't climb. I'm too busy playing Blue Archive.
By the way, I'm only like 3K in Unlimited, and I got top 10K, I think. Which is...
Oh, yeah. Wait. Yeah, no, I'm like 3.5K, and I'm pretty sure I got top 3K in Unlimited.
Oh,
Unlimited 3 packs.
Dude, I forgot.
Sure to check out the previous 12-point episode about how Unlimited is an unwanted format.
I forgot that it was the first month, so getting top 10K was... all I had to do was just climb a couple more points. I think I would have made it.
Damn.
Probably.
All right, and then we also got the new Battle Pass missions, which are added on January 31st at 4 p.m., which has the Sloth's Command and Beowulf sleeves and emblems. You guys care about those cards at all?
Who?
No. I mean, I like Beowulf aesthetically, but as a card, I find it annoying.
Now, here's something that I missed completely because I was in Japan. The Resurgent Gauntlet Take 2 took place February 1st, 7 p.m. to February 4th, 3 a.m. to register, and then the actual gameplay took place until February 4th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Cost 1,000 rupees or 500 crystals. You get a guaranteed class of your choice, and just for participating, you get Eon cosmetics, and if you win, you get 10,000 rupees. Do you guys do this?
No, I had 17k rupees saved up, and I didn't even see it as worth it. It's just too much of a risk.
It's a lot of pressure for sure.
I really want to enter because it's Eon, it's Portal Craft sleeves, you know? But like, Gauntlet, all of my experiences with Gauntlet have been so rough. It is high risk, high reward, but I've only ever actually plussed with Gauntlet exactly once. Usually when I play Gauntlet, I get only like 2 wins and that's it. 2 wins and like 20 rupees and that's it. I spent 1,000 rupees just to get 2 rupees back. However, however, I will say that usually Take 2 Gauntlet is slightly less painful compared to standard Gauntlet because you can use guides to help you out with Take 2, and just, in my opinion, from my experience, it just ran a bit smoother. It felt less... it felt
easy,
less.
Bro. Just pick Sword and take Fearful Fighter, or pick Blood and get Bolt Devil, and you win the game.
Maybe that's why.
So true.
Maybe that's why I'm so bad at Gauntlet, is because I don't play good decks. But also, here's the thing about Gauntlet too, is that whenever they announce Gauntlet, I always forget that Gauntlet is even a thing. So they always announce Gauntlet like 2 days before it starts, and I have no savings. So
yeah, I feel you on that. I've been just like burning my rupees trying to get Lumior. I got Luvia instead. Who the hell is this? I don't care. Give me
they announced Gauntlet. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna buy crystals for this. So I'm just gonna let it pass. I'm just it's not worth spending to flex the Eon sleeves. I feel bad about it, but wait, I could have gotten globes. No.
Whoa!
It's too late now.
It's so over. I
All right.
always save my gold. I only ever spend my rupees once in expansion, so I always have the rupees available for a gauntlet, and I never see them as worth it.
Nah, dude, if I
Everyone's
could,
trying their damned best to win, and I'm too casual for that.
nah, dude, if I got rupees, I just roll. That's if I can roll, I'm gonna roll. That's just how I am with my gotchas.
That's fair enough. All right. Moving on to the next piece of news. I'm actually so sad that I'm missing this right now. I guess I'll see it soon enough. But the Gems of Fortune Cup Volume 4 Grand Prix is here from February 7th through to February 16th. We got some new changes to the format. I actually didn't get the chance to read this. Can you guys explain to me like how they changed Gems of Fortune here?
Oh, it's weird.
Instead of you selecting a gem in your hand and another one and banishing, or another card and banishing that card and then getting 2 cards back, they've changed it so each gem card, the Gleaming Gem and the Radiant Crystal, they instead are fusion cards where you fuse a selected number of cards from your hand and replace your hand with those cards. I think that implies that you'll be able to just play a gem and get the cards, like a random card, so you won't have
No.
situations where you only draw one card and that's your only card, so you can't do anything.
Okay,
No, but
so
I'm reading here the Gleaming Gem actually draws you cards now.
yeah,
The
they
Radiant
have
Crystals.
they have actual normal effects. I don't think we see the cost from the screenshot we had, but they have actual effects where if you hard cast a gem, you draw 2. If you hard cast a Radiant Crystal, you draw until you have 8 cards in hand. So the idea is that instead of using spells that generate random cards in Gems of Fortune, you fuse to get random cards, which is interesting because it doesn't count towards spell boost and it doesn't count towards shadows for Shadowcraft.
Or combo.
Yeah, because previously Shadowcraft was the Gems of Fortune meta king.
Well,
No mistake.
all
about
of them, like Rune Force and Shadow, were all kings.
Oh, so that's really interesting. So it makes it a little more equal for all the different classes. And not only that, it also just speeds it up because you don't have to spend 12 years playing each of your gems out of your hand to get cards. You just fuse all at once and get them. Hey.
And the Radiant Crystal had an additional effect where okay, so Gleaming Gems can only fuse with other Gleaming Gems. They have to cannibalize themselves to generate the random card, you know?
Okay.
Whereas which is kind of tricky because you can't use Gleaming Gems to get rid of bad rolls. Radiant Crystals can fuse with any cards except for Gleaming Gem. And when you fuse with Gleaming Gem, you place those banished cards with random cards, and also you then put a random legendary card from these cards into your hand. So you're guaranteed.
That's when you fuse with Radiant Crystal, right?
Yeah. So you get the random cards and get one additional card, the legendary as well too. So you can use a Radiant Crystal to specifically get rid of your bad cards, and also you're guaranteed a plus with the legendary, I guess.
Actually, this is a really good rework because not only do you balance out the classes more, but it's actually more decision making that you have to do despite it being a random format. I kind of like it.
This looks so much more fun. I just think the only real issue is that it's confusing. It mechanically it is really weird, especially for new players. It looks really fun to play. It's just gonna take some getting used to.
It's a good thing you'll have an opportunity to practice in private matches.
That's true. So yes, from February 5th to February 9th, you have a daily mission to play one Gems of Fortune private match to earn a ticket each day. And then the Grand Prix itself, like I said, starts from February 7th to February 16th with Pierce Eye and Snow White Beauty cosmetic reward. Pierce Eye? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's random.
Seems it. Cards will
and
be available from Fortune's Hand through to Resurgent Legends as well for the rotation of this Gems of Fortune. So that's 10 expansions, I do believe.
Oh,
and there are some limited time missions as well, but there's a ban list.
There's a ban list? I didn't see this.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look. So Wolfrod Hanged Man is banned. So is Hornet Whisperer, Hornet Strike, Bandit Raid, Margaret Mermaid, Imperial Dragon, Celestial Worm God, Bandage Connoisseur, Dark Summons, and Wielder of the Cosmos. What? Who is Bandage Connoisseur?
Bandage Connoisseur, Shadowcraft 6play.33. He looks like a mummy. Ward, Fanfare, Summon Mariah the Mummy. Oh,
What?
Marianne the Mummy.
I
Why
think
is that bad?
I think these are just like
Wait,
most
what?
of I think most of these are just programming issues because of resurgent cards. I think they just couldn't like
Could be.
I think they just weren't able to like figure out how to, you know, fix these bugs, I guess. These really weird bugs. And it's just like, these cards aren't even that good. Let's just ban them, I guess. Cosmos though.
I can't quite see why Bandage Connoisseur would be banned. He seems
Yeah, I don't
incredibly-
know. That
Yeah.
that just seems like speculation to me. But like, just seems weird. Whatever.
Wielder
Cosmos,
is
I mean-
complicated and would ruin your deck.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Cosmos doesn't even work anyway because when he's just added to hand, you don't get any effect anyway. I mean, when you spawn him with diffusion, he has to be added when you draw him. But like, I still like having him though. I still liked having him in the pool just because you could shuffle him back in deck with some kind of bad card like Kasim and.
I think Wolfrod, the Hanged Man, is banned for pretty obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think they're banned for various reasons. Maybe some of them were issues, but I think some of them were banned for balance reasons. Like Wolfrod is like.
Well, Fraud, you copy the opponent's hand, you copy all the cards that they draw. You just get all the gems to get back.
Try and get rid of your deck as fast as possible at that point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You could win that way. Yeah.
I'm loving Bandit Raid here. 3 play point Swordcraft spell. Summon a thief and give it rush. Enhance 5. Summon 2 thieves and give them rush. That's a strange ban.
That's crazy.
That one might actually be because of the resurgent version of that card somehow screwing something up. I can see why people would think that now. Yeah. Next up, known bugs as of January 24. I'll just read through these real quick and we can react accordingly. Under some conditions, when a card with both reduced damage from effects to 0 and can't be destroyed by effects is destroyed, the visual effect from reduced damage to 0 does not disappear and stays in play. It's only a display issue. How do you
That's cool.
such a random?
There's
That's for Exodia Sword. That is specifically for.
I want to
Exodia
preface
Sword.
this by saying that a lot of these just make me think like, okay, there's a good reason why they're moving to a new ground up game. Because some of these are just like the most random bugs that I don't even know how many webs of spaghetti they have to untangle.
Dude,
I
don't even know where you found these bug reports. Like, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's on the official website. They always do these like every so often where they just tell you all the bugs that are in the game at the moment. So
and I can absolutely see how this was discovered with the Swordcraft deck that relies on getting a Steadfast Samurai to be basically immortal.
Yeah,
because you do give it those effects.
Yeah, you also give it Armor of the Stars as well, which is very funny.
Although I'm fairly sure that deck is quite dead nowadays with cards like Drazael reducing the health of cards, even something that is immortal.
All right, moving on. We also have under some conditions when challenging Luna Elite 3 in practice mode, if the AI-controlled leader has the effect by Arcus Ghostly Manager's Fanfare, and it's their 10th turn or later, the game will freeze and you're not able to continue the match.
That's pretty funny.
Yep, I think we need Worlds Beyond, boys. Let's get this new engine in, or whatever's going on.
Cool fact about the Elite 3 AIs, to this day, they still reward first-time defeaters 200 gold. So it's a great way of getting gold if you're a new player. Defeat the Elite level AI.
Isn't it part of the achievement system? So of course it would, right?
Yeah.
It's also funny though that Elite 3 is such an old ass thing that this bug might have been here the entire time. And just
some of these bugs has been in for a while. Like I remember seeing some of these like from a while back and they just have never been resolved. So we also have when creating a deck via QR code on some Android platforms, the game freezes and the screen will not move past the QR code reader. You can resolve the issue by restarting the app.
I've never tried using the QR codes. I don't even know how to do that correctly.
I've only ever tried it by stealing decks from Igni's videos.
Good job. I thank you for your patronage. After purchasing a temporary deck, a black strip may remain on the buy pre-built deck screen. It's only a display issue. Moving to another in-game screen will resolve the issue. Okay, that's just a normal.
That's just a
pretty minor,
cheeky visual bug.
Very minor.
The game won't move past the card redraw screen if players have been using another app to make a call at the same time. We recommend that players avoid making calls while playing matches. This issue can be resolved by restarting Shadowverse and re-entering the match within the allotted time. No calling mom while you're playing Shadowverse, okay? Stay focused.
It's rude. You're making the opponent wait.
Yeah.
There may be instances where the music has static or cutscenes experience blips or get cut off. This is caused by heavy load on your device's memory and can be resolved by shutting down other apps to free up space. Buy a new phone, all right? If you gotta play Shadowverse.
You guys not have phones?
Issues with the winner prediction event. When you jump to an external web page through the link within the event banner more than twice and then try to place your vote, you will get a message asking you to try again shortly. Oh, that's like so minor that I'm kind of like impressed that they found like the reason to post that, because it's so minor that I don't think anybody cares, but respect for posting it anyway. When you play this is the one that has been in the game for forever, if I recall. When you play a card that returns a follower to your hand right after you play another follower, and the second card moves to the upper left corner of the screen, the game freezes and you are unable to continue the match. For example, if you play 2 or more fairies, while the played fairy is moving to the upper left corner of the screen, you play Ancient Elf, the game will freeze. Affected cards: Ancient Elf, Kailing Elephant, Cinderella, Homecoming, Fairy Torrent. You can resolve the issue by closing and restarting the app within the time limit, and this will be resolved in a future update. I don't know why they keep saying it'll be resolved in a future update. I think this bug has been in the game since like forever, if I recall correctly. Might be a different bug, but I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Forest Craft. Don't let them play quickly.
Take your time, chew your food.
I like how it says this issue was partially resolved in June 28th, 2017. It's been 6 years.
This is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Under some conditions, you may not be able to return to suspended matches. This issue is partially resolved in June 28th, 2017. But there's a possibility that issues might occur. Okay. So with all of that said, Worlds Beyond, save us. This game is old, man. It's got some crusty little joints that need to be oiled up. The next installation.
It's held together by tape and gum.
I mean, it's been working pretty well. Honestly, a lot of these bugs are pretty minor, but like, yeah, you can definitely see some cracks. Like, ooh, this is an 8-year-old game, man.
Compare it to most other games, and this level of bugs is an absolute pittance. There are barely any compared.
I think it's also kind of respectable that they list the bugs, no matter how minor and no matter how few players will be affected by it. You know, they're just like, hey, this might affect you, and if you're wondering, this is why, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've always found it so impressive when the Twitter account will announce like there has been one bug discovered. We will launch a patch in the next few days.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Grand.
I mean, I don't want to name any names, but compared to some other card game clients I've used that are just like they are the worst.
Like decks that eat up your entire enemy's turn in animations. Haha, that would never happen.
Anyway, also, speaking of bugs, they also fixed a couple of bugs since the last bug hunt. Bugs that I didn't even know existed. Like a display issue with Wise Bear?
Who?
An issue with the tournament mode, and a display issue with the battle menu button in puzzle mode. This dedication to reporting bugs that no one cares about, like I said, I respect it.
I just find it shocking that any display issues would be found with Wise Bear because no one has ever played that card.
Same thing in tournament mode. No one uses tournament mode.
Hey, I use tournament mode every week, brother.
True. You're the only one that does.
All right, JCG Shadowverse Open results on the 31st. They had a rotation tournament, and the first and second place both played Magachio Helio, but there was also a lot of Castel in top 16. So how do we feel about that?
I
think Forest is too strong.
I mean, Forest...
You really have
Local Forest hater says Forest too strong. I can't believe it.
Uh-huh.
It is scary how good Forestcraft is now, but it's also not in a position where it needs to be nerfed, though, because Forestcraft takes effort, and people don't put in that effort to make it overwhelmingly powerful on Ladder, so it's not going to get nerfed.
Also, if Forestcraft didn't have counters to the top decks, like Michelle versus Helio, then it would just be another Shadow meta, and I'm like, frick that, man. So that's how I feel about it. But speaking of JCG, they also had a tournament on the 2nd and the 4th. Let me bring up the results for you now. On the 2nd, it looks like the top player won with Magachio buff, and the second place won with Magachio Golem boost. So I'm happy to see Golem boost on there. I've been a huge proponent of that deck for a while, and I feel vindicated that it's up there. But Magachio has really been on a tear recently, even more than Castel in terms of top placements.
I think Magachio for me has always been the scariest deck. It's not popular on ladder, but every single time I queue against Magachio, I'm just like, oh, I just lose. I'm just dead.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that Magachio invasion was not enough to stop the wave of the actual two top decks in terms of player representation, in my opinion, on ladder anyway, because in tournaments we got on the tournament on the 4th for JCG, the winner, the second place, and one of the top 4s were running Buff Dragon and Transmute Shadow. And in fact, all of the top 4s were running Buff Dragon. So,
yeah.
In fact, 7 of the top 8 were running Buff Dragons. So,
yeah.
Oh boy. Oh no. Yeah, the return of Buff is honestly kind of a bummer because, like, I thought we moved away from this, man.
I completely lost motivation to climb after Buff came back, honestly.
It's a little sad, isn't it?
It was overplayed.
I do feel a little bit
and
like I feel like we're back in the past, and that's like not great in terms of feeling refreshed for the meta.
Yeah, it's like we were doing so well. We had such a diverse meta with all these new decks, and it's just like, oh, it's just Buff again. Oh, okay.
This is honestly, I mean, look, it is Buff's fault, but it's also Helios' fault. So,
yeah.
It is what it is. Simply, the Heaven Scale Dragon is just so good against a lot of the field right now, and people recognize that. Anyway, the next tournament is going to be on the 7th, the day after this one, and we'll cover that next week, I guess. I think there was also a Take-Two JCG on the 3rd, but I cannot find any data on it right now, so rip, I guess. Apologies for for not having that on hand. I can't find it on Shadow. I can't find it on Shadowverse Masters, so I guess not even they put a post about it. I don't know.
For the two Take-Two mains on the planet, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it probably would be more of the same outcome that you're expecting, right? Like sword good, blood good because of Bolt Devil. Bolt Devil being a bronze just was like a huge boon to Take-Two. So like,
I'd imagine Take-Two at this point in the expansion would be solid by this point. So
yeah. All right. Next up, we got the Shadowverse Grandmaster Finals, which happened on February 3rd. It was an invitation-only thing. We talked about this last week, where the first, second, and third rotation and UL players from the 78th to 89th season are competing, as well as the first, second, and third Crosscraft players from the third season, and the winner can participate in Shadowverse Invitational 2024. What are the results? I don't know. This is one thing that I really don't like about how separate the Japanese and English scene feels, is that it feels like a lot of these events have like no coverage. And maybe this is like, a little bit of self-sucking, but I feel like for a lot of people, this podcast is the first time they've even heard about this event. So,
it's the first time I've heard of it, that's for sure.
I don't know, and like not even Shadowverse Master covered this event. So
I would imagine there would have to be some kind of Japanese resource that's specifically Japanese only.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and look it up now. Maybe we can circle back around to it. Oh wait, actually, Kalen, do you have the game open?
Yep.
I just saw this news on the Shadowverse official Twitter 22 hours ago with only 7 likes. Tournament winning decks used in the Grandmaster Finals 2024 and the University League have been added. Can you go ahead and check out the tournament winning decks? We will be the first English news source to cover this.
The only.
Boy. That would be the Shadowverse Grandmasters Finals, correct?
Yep. Grandmaster Finals 2024.
Castel and Magachio Forest for Forest Craft.
Okay.
Over in Swordcraft, we have nothing, it would seem.
Good.
Okay, yeah. Rune also nothing. Buff Dragon over in Dragon. Yep, they
Yeah,
got
That
yeah.
makes sense. That
Checks
makes
out.
sense.
Okay.
Checks out.
Nothing for Shadowcraft.
Yep.
Nothing for Bloodcraft. Havencraft had Evulia Haven.
Illuvia.
Illuvia, what up? Australian debuff. And nothing for Portalcraft. So it's Haven, Dragon, Forest, and I yeah. Just Haven, Dragon, and Forest. Four decks.
You heard it here first, folks. Dragon, Forest, and Haven.
I mean,
the meta.
I'll just tell you right now, that does not surprise me. Like, this is like one event for the ladder grinders, and it's their one shot to participate in the Shadowverse Invitational. So, like, of course, you're going to go with the thing that you think has the best chance to succeed, right? Like,
It's a shame.
I can't blame them.
It's a shame we can't. It's a shame we can't exactly see specifically which builds topped, like which builds won necessarily. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't have the full. I mean, it's on YouTube, but I'm gonna have to dig through I'm in a hotel room, right?
I don't feel like that's really necessary. I think we get the idea. I think we understand this meta at this point. So
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. But hey, we're the first podcast to ever cover it on the English side.
yay!
Give us a Guinness World Record. Anyway, moving on.
Only English podcast.
There's maybe two others.
There are other Shadowverse podcasts, but I'm not sure how active they are, at least at the current moment.
Well, to be fair, we also took a 1.5 year long break.
True, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Glass houses.
True.
All right. I have a couple of reminders for everybody. The Rage Shadowverse Pro Tour 23-24 season is happening on February 11th at Bellsal Akihabara. I was at Akihabara today. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's Pro Team versus Pro Team League, of course. In Japan, Shadowverse Esports is a big deal. It gives you a world championship slot. Well, it gives one of these pros a world championship slot, and 9 of them qualify for the Shadowverse Invitational 2024.
God,
so if you're in Akihabara, go check that out.
God, I wish that was me.
And also, the SVO Mini 2024 is starting with the first one being on February 10th. It's 5 rounds of twist. You complete all 5. You get a raffle for some physical prizes. You can check that out on the SVO Esports
Luna
Twitter.
Pillow.
And if you win all 5, you get the prizes automatically. Just a quick reminder for everybody, because this is the last podcast I'll be reminding you about it. Next week, we're going to be reporting on it. So make sure to join up on that SV.gg. Okay.
The last podcast will mention the Luna Pillow.
Well, next week we'll mention who won the Luna Pillow. So,
Hell yeah.
Now, this is not typically a Shadowverse Evolve podcast, but a big event did happen with Shadowverse Evolve, and it's also the reason why I'm in Japan, so we would be remiss not to mention it. The Shadowverse Evolve World Finals happened, and it was a pretty exciting event. Like, allow me to tell you a tale since I was there. I came in, and, I think a lot of people were expecting, like, Uma Musume, Swordcraft, Dragoncraft to run away with it all. And Dragoncraft did end up coming in first, which is, not super unsurprising. But the second place being Rose Queen is crazy.
Dude.
And third the third place Uma build was a turbo 7 more centimeters build, where it wasn't the typical Uma. It ran a lot of discard cards to activate 7 more centimeters, the massive chonky boy spell that, like, gives you a huge payoff. So the fact that these players were cooking, they were innovating the whole time, it's really cool.
With centimeters, is that the Necrocharge card?
Yep, when you have 20 Umas in the cemetery, I think.
He played Mill Uma Musume?
Yeah, including cards like Seeking the Pearl to make your mill faster.
Okay, dude, I spent the entire day watching Worlds. That Shadowverse Evolve World Finals was probably one of the coolest tournaments I've ever seen, and that's not just me shilling Evolve. Play Shadowverse Evolve, it's really good, but that's not just me shilling Evolve. Like, because we thought the meta was solved. We're playing all these decks after the Japanese meta figured it out months ago, like a year or two ago. But there's been so many weird, fresh ideas that were thrown around. Someone brought the first round that we saw on the broadcast was Runecraft. It wasn't spell charge with Dimension Shift. It was some kind of weird Storm, Burn, Spell
Yep.
Charge, which I didn't even know that was possible.
With Spell Chain, but with the payoff of Runeblade Summoner and Mithril Golem with no dimension shift. Which
Oh
is
yeah,
so,
my
so
bad.
cool.
Not Spell Charge, Spell Chain. I get Necro Charge and
Excuse me, I'm the ambassador.
actually-
Please get the wording right.
and like
But yeah, it was super cool.
speaking of Necro Charge, even though I don't think this build plays Necro Charge, the second round we got to see Aggro Abyss. I thought Aggro Abyss was like super duper fake. Well, it did lose, but
It almost won though. The dragon was down to 1 defense. If they just got ambling rate, they would have won. Like,
yeah,
legit.
dude, he was 1 off lethal. it went all the way down to 1 more damage. I was on the edge of my seat the entire broadcast,
World
dude.
Finals. Ooh.
Well, Tonko, this just proves that the pre-restriction to trial initiation and Ignideus was definitely the right hit, because like not only is it completely different to the JP meta now, but it's like it's blown the meta wide open and allows the players to innovate so much that like that pre-restriction might go down as like one of the best like pre-restrictions in this game. Like it was so smart to hit those two to hit the consistency of Uma.
Yeah, dude, watching Worlds proved to me that, dude, I don't know a damn thing about this game. Like everything I thought I knew about Shadowverse Evolve was proven wrong that day.
Hey, then we got to get you in on this Shadowverse Evolve, brother. That game is good.
I live in the middle of the nowhere. There's no card shops near me, man.
Just play with me online and Tonko.
That's me, Tonko.
Probably do that.
Yeah. You know what?
Kaylin,
We'll sim it. Kaylin, you and me will sim it first. See if you dig the vibe, and then you know what? You should get some product and try it out, man. It's a good game.
wait, Kaylin, have you ever played or at least collected any like paper TCGs?
Yeah, I had plenty of Pokemon cards, but a Cyclone back like 10 years ago dealt with them, made sure I didn't get to keep those.
Damn.
Oh no. The
That
world.
was some Pokemon cards. Ooh.
It's like
time to rekindle it, bro. Shadowverse Evolve is a good ass game, and it's just gonna get better this year.
Mother
Oh,
Nature,
actually
it's
top tier.
Mother
Yeah.
Nature itself got you off the path of Pokemon, so you could go on the path of
it's
Shadowverse
God was
instead.
like, no Pokemon, play Shadowverse. It's pretty funny. It's a good game. Kaylin, we should give it a shot. All right. And speaking of Shadowverse Evolve, a very exclusive announcement was made at the World Finals, which is very exciting. English edition only, a new casual multiplayer format called Glory Finder Guide to Glory, a bundle of 4 ready-to-play decks that releases July 19th, 2024. It includes new cards that are exclusive to this format, and the 4 title characters on the box art, Mono, Baphomet, and 2 completely new characters not seen anywhere in other Shadowverse media. So this kind of started as a sort of like they tried out a multiplayer casual format at a couple of cons, but they went back to the lab. People really enjoyed it. They made a couple of changes, and now this is what this product is. And no details on the rules have been revealed yet, but people are thinking, and so am I, that it's probably trying to grab a little bit of that market that MTG Commander has, because Commander is like the most popular MTG format, because it's just like, it's kind of like you play the card game as if it's a casual board game. And as you can imagine, that's like a huge way to introduce people into your game. And it's a huge way to like play the game socially and casually at stores, which is like so good for the ecosystem and the economy of your game, that like Shadowverse trying this out, I think is really smart.
I think that actually does sound pretty cool.
Kaylin, I'm gonna get this, and then let's all play it on Discord. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any proper tournaments or events for Glory Finder, I'm sure, but it might just be.
Yeah,
It's just there for fun.
Off.
Well, they specifically specified that it's just a casual for fun kind of thing.
But I think having casual formats is like good for the health of the game.
Yeah, that's totally fine, and I'm sure that they're gonna have little side events, because that's what they did for those experimental multiplayer formats. They just kind of had them on the side for people to try out.
Yeah, exactly. So like kind of like at a con, you have the main event, and if you like drown in pools, or if you're just like there as a friend of somebody who is competing, you have like a little side event to play. And also like I said, it's hugely beneficial for stores, because like it gives them an immediate entry point You know, you don't have to ask a new player to buy in. You can just use the store's copy of Glory Finder and play right away, which I think is a huge deal.
True.
The only dilemma with this is that, well, it's not a real problem, but so Glory Finder, at least this little bundle set, is gonna have some cards that are exclusive to the Glory Finder format.
Mm-hmm.
But that Baphomet is so hot. I don't want it to be exclusive.
That is not an issue. That's just you.
I don't want it to be exclusive. I want to play him for real.
All right. That's a very fun announcement, and I really, really enjoyed that. All right. Now let's move on to our main topic. That's it for the news. And the main topic this week is Igni's funky little Japan adventure. Yay!
Yay! Pachi.
This is the part of the podcast where I can talk about what I've been up to this week.
Go for it, dude.
Surprise!
Go off, King.
The reason why I'm in Japan was because I was casting the Shadowverse Evolve English Edition World Finals. And I think it went really well. You caught the stream, Tonko? How'd I do?
Oh, dude, both you and your boy.
Red Zone Rogue. Yeah,
Red Zone Rogue. Oh, you guys were perfect together, dude.
Thank you. I think we did a really good job. And you know what? I was really nervous going into the day because it was my first time ever casting a physical TCG as somebody who's coming from digital, right? And I was nervous about a couple of things. I was nervous, one, would I do a good job? Two, would the production be like similar, or would there be like a whole bunch of other stuff that I have to take into consideration that I don't have to for when I'm casting Shadowverse Digital? And three, this was like kind of a not directly related to the production, but I was kind of nervous whether or not like the other people from the TCG community would accept like a digital guy coming into their space. But all of those concerns were just so unfounded because one, I think I absolutely killed it.
Oh, you did.
Two, everybody was so welcoming and so nice, and I'm so grateful for that. And three, the production was like basically the same. As long as you know what the cards do, you can and know what the meta is like, you can commentate it. So this event has really like lit a fire under me, where I'm like, or inside me rather, where I'm like, I love physical card games. I want to get into this more and more in the coming years.
Dude, sure. he's got the bug now. Finally, he understands.
Tonko, we gotta play Kaylin. I'm gonna get you into it. We gotta do it. It's a good ass game.
Me being a guy that's been playing paper, I've been playing paper TCGs for about 15 years now. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside seeing you get it, you understand.
That's what Chris said on his Twitter too. Chris Differentfight, my fellow Shadowverse Evolve English Edition ambassador and the commentator for Vanguard Standard during this event. He said on Twitter, I had a lot of good memories, but one of the special ones was seeing Ignideus be converted into it's a co-player. And I'm like, yeah, true. We talked. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like both of you guys did really well. It makes me so happy to see Red Zone, especially too, because I watched that guy's week cross videos. when I saw that he got into Evolve, oh my god, that made me so happy.
Because he used to be a White Cross guy, and then he went into Flesh and Blood exclusively for a while.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, he's recently, in like the past year or so, branched out back into weeb stuff. So he went from White Cross to Flesh and Blood, and then he's like, nah, I'm a weeb. And then he started covering Grand Archive and Shadowverse Evolve, and I'm like, hell yeah, brother. Let those weeb flag fly.
Yeah, he dips his toes into a lot of TCGs, so I'm really happy that he's really enjoying Evolve and he's getting involved.
Yeah, he told me that his three main games are Flesh and Blood, Grand Archive, and Shadowverse Evolve, and I'm like, yes, another quality Shadowverse Evolve creator. Let's go.
I'm so glad to see Evolve actually succeeding.
Dude, Kaylin, the game is so good.
It's so good.
It's actually... I like it as much as digital Shadowverse now. Like, honestly, it's like so much fun. And you will soon see, I will forcibly make you play the game with me.
It's actually it's kind of tricky to fully communicate how Shadowverse Evolve is so drastically different. It's so different from Shadowverse Digital. Not just because there's different rules, but just the general vibe and the back and forth just has a whole different vibe to it.
The fact that you can't attack a follower that isn't engaged Tonko, do you see the World Finals match where Daniel boardlocked Bellevue? That I pogged out of my gourd with that.
Yeah, dude, we got to see a boardlock play in physical Shadowverse.
Like an actual boardlock, and then Bellevue had to top deck the Nature's Guidance to get out of it. It was like, oh my god.
And she had it.
I'm losing my mind. Anyway, great game. So what happened was, I guess I'll just talk through like my adventure from the start, from day by day, if that's cool with you.
Go for it.
It's kind of like I don't mean to mean this like a flex, but a lot of Shadowverse related things happened. Okay, so first of all, I flew in on the 31st, and then I didn't do anything that day because I, went to sleep. And then on the 1st, I actually got to play some games of Set 3 with Chris the day before it came out. So a little bit of an early sneak peek, and I think those videos are going to come out sometime this month, hopefully, fingers crossed. But it was a lot of fun. No spoilers, but me and Chris played 2 games and with the Set 3 decks, and it was quite enjoyable. Set 3, by the way, just came out on February 2nd. So if you're wondering where are my Wonderland Dreams and where are my Shadowverse anime cards, well, they're in English now. So go check that out.
Bro, I just got my Set 3 boxes in today. I mean, I can't do an unboxing for a couple of days because I'm busy, but I did open one box by myself because I was like, oh, I ordered 6 boxes, that's a lot. So I'll just open one just for myself because I need this right now. And
did you get the milliliter?
Like, it's like last week, Igni, you were like, oh yeah, I opened a couple boxes and I pulled something. You pulled something, all right. Well, yeah, I pulled something too.
Let's go.
Igni got the signed Milli SP and I got the milliliter. Let's go.
Nice.
Very rare cards. Very nice. Okay. And then after that, of course, after that filming day was, of course, the rehearsals for World Finals. And I got to meet so many people from Bushy Roads, like many different games, Y Schwartz, Vanguard Standard, Premium, V Premium. And they were all so kind and so nice. And I was like so grateful that they were welcoming of like somebody who's like historically not been into physical card games and was only into digital. Because I feel like a lot of people in this space sort of have the story of like, oh, I've been playing physical card games since I was 10 years old. And, I came out of the womb sucking my thumb and holding a fully constructed deck or whatever. So like coming into physical like as a grown man and still being like accepted as a new member of the community has been really kind of everybody.
I don't think there really is much of a cultural divide between physical or digital. That's why I think you fit right in. The only real challenge is that physical just costs money. It just costs more money.
Yeah, and I'm also learning a lot about physical, like all the accessories and play mats and sleeving and all this that I have to learn about.
You bought a lot of play mats and sleeves.
Yeah, but that's related to a different story that happened. A lot of stuff happened to me. So of course, on the 2nd was when I casted the World Finals, and I got to, meet up with a bunch of people again from Bushy Road and from Side Games, and of course casting the thing with Cal Red Zone Rogue, who was we hit it off basically instantly when I met him, and we were super on the same wavelength, so I think we did a really good job on the cast. So,
dude, the very moment I saw you guys together on screen, it's like it was like an instantly, you just clicked instantly.
Oh, that's because we do have personalities that mesh well together, but also the day before we went like walking around the city like all day together.
Yeah. The bonding
it was like
time.
a good way to get to know each other, and we like instantly realized that we are on the same level, so this is good.
Yeah, perfect.
And then after that, on the day after, I was just wandering around, right? After Worlds. Oh, of course, directly after Worlds, I got sloshed at the after party. So the day after, I was hungover and I was just walking around Akiba. And this is a true story. I went back to the venue where Worlds was because I was looking for a bathroom. I knew that the Akiba venue had a bathroom in it. So I was like, God, I need to pee so bad. And then I went upstairs to look for it. And then I saw on a sign, Shadowverse University League 23-24 Grand Finals. And I'm like...
That's how you found it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just walked in.
You were just piss drunk, just trying to find a place to piss. It's like,
No, I
oh,
wasn't drunk. I was hungover.
yeah, okay, yeah.
And I needed to go to the bathroom real bad. Yeah, I saw Shadowverse University League on a sign, and I was like, what? Did we talk about this on the podcast and I just forgot? And I think we might have, but I literally forgot that it was at the same venue on the day after.
I don't think
We might
did
have.
mention that.
We mentioned it a little bit in relation to Shadowverse Invitational last week. I know that.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it, but yeah.
Right. So then I walked in and they were like, "No, it's not open yet. Come in at 8. They come in at 9:00." And I'm like, "Okay, fair enough."
You can
so then
pee
I
at
just milled
9
around for a
o'clock.
little bit. I went to pee. I got another coffee, and then I went back at 9 a.m. and I was let in, and I went to the reception, and they were like, "Oh, are you here for the University League?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And of course, they spoke in Japanese, so I replied in broken Japanese. Boku wa Shadowbasu YouTuber de.
Are you a YouTuber?
Nice.
Boku wa Shadowbasu Eborubu Ego Ambassador. I was just said that. It was very embarrassing for me because my Japanese is bad. And then they were like, "Okay, wait 1 second." And then they went in, and then they brought out somebody from Psy Games, and she looked at me and was like, "Oh, it's Igni," in Japanese.
Nice.
And I'm like, "Yes!"
Oh, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
thank goodness.
Recognition.
So then they let me in. It turns out it was open to the public anyway, so it wasn't any exclusive access or anything. But they did set me up with a nice little seat that the public couldn't sit at. They set me up with a free gacha roll on their gacha machine.
Aw.
They had a gigantic like gacha tumbler, and then like you could get a roll and get a random prize. And at the event there was seating. It wasn't that big, so like it was open to the public, but it was kind of not super publicized. And there were people sitting there, and they gave me like a little thing where you can blow into it and inflate it, and it becomes like thunder clappers for when something hype happens on the screen.
Oh, yay.
And so basically, while I was there, I met the Japanese Shadowverse Evolve ambassador Yuiko. She was super nice. I met Tabata, the pro player, and I also met Rigze, the pro player. He's the guy who is currently, in my opinion, the best Sephi player in the world. And he got multiple, like, 10-plus win streaks with Sephi in this set. And he keeps telling me, he joked to me, he went up to me and he was like, "Bro, nobody in this event is playing Sephi. What are they doing?" And I'm like, "Nice, based."
A man after my own heart.
So very cool to meet everybody there. Super chill. And they gave me also a Shadowverse original University League chocolate bar. And I ate it. It was pretty good.
Oh, you ate it? You could have sold that on eBay for so much money.
No, dude.
You could have framed. You could have graded that.
Vlog. It's gonna be in my vlog, bro.
Oh, I thought you said that's gonna be in your log.
No.
No.
I filmed enough to make a vlog about it. So anyway, that event happened, and I just want to say this is sort of harkening back to a new segment. Congratulations to oh god, I don't know the name of the Japanese university, but I have it on my phone here. I closed it. Shit. But I know the team name. I just don't remember the university name. The team name that won is CIMA. So congratulations to them for winning the event. What university are they from? Give me 1 second. If only I knew better the landscape of Japanese academia.
Shadowverse College.
They are from Doshisha University. So congratulations to the Doshisha Esports Circle, CIMA, for winning the Shadowverse University League. I think one of the prizes is a qualification to the Shadowverse Invitational, like we covered last week, I believe. But they also win an exclusive playmat, which is pretty sick.
Ooh.
So, yeah. And I think they also get like money, but it's like it's like Amazon gift card money, but it's still money.
Okay,
so
yeah, but
good.
it's still something of actual value. So yeah.
Yeah, it's still actually money.
It's
Oh
some
wait,
fun
no,
bucks to play
wait.
with.
It says here. God, what? See, why are we the premier news source for Japanese? Why?
It's because no one else will do the job.
Why is there not an official translation for this? Well, I don't know what the official pricing was, but they walked away with a special playmat that has Anne and Greya on it, so that's pretty hype.
I have seen that.
And the Shadowverse University League logo in the middle. And there is a picture of the players standing with a novelty check that says 2 million yen on it. So I'm assuming they got 2 million yen. 2 million yen, not men. Congratulations. Very cool. So, yeah, congratulations once again to Doshisha Esports Circle, CIMA. Good job. I actually do have a piece of paper that has all the deck lists on it. The event is over. The paper does say confidential in the top left in big red letters. But the event is over, so I guess I could just tell you. I won't go through all the deck lists, but I'll tell you what CIMA ran, the champions. If you guys didn't know, the event is actually a very interesting event. It's a best of 9 with 5 decks, and each player plays a deck, but they can talk to each other, I think, and communicate with each other to like use teamwork to try and win with the decks they're playing.
You can backseat?
You're using the power of your Nakama brother to win, all right? And here are what the players are playing from CIMA, okay? And you have to use 5 different classes, I believe. So it's actually a pretty diverse field, all right? Well, kind of. So for CIMA, they were playing Heel Haven with 1 Apostle, and 3 of the Banish spell and 2 of the Tanzanite Convictor. So that's pretty fun. There's also 1 Sekhmet as well to supplement your agents. So there's that. They're also playing Buff Dragon. No surprise there. Helio Shadow, which is very, very performant. Finally, they were running the new Castel build that runs the one of Verdant Lieutenant. That's been making the rounds in the competitive scene for a little bit now. And also, their 5th deck was, drumroll please, Enhanced Portal.
Portal mentioned?
Portal mentioned!
Portal mentioned.
No Eden, by the way. No Eden in this Enhanced Portal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They run Odin, they run the Battle Cruiser, and other than that, it's your typical Enhanced Portal spread. A little aggressive with the what's called the 6 cost enhanced spell that deals 5 to your face, the bronze one.
Angelic something. It's some kind of angel card.
Smiting Shower or something like that. And they even run Snow as a one of to draw for a neutral, which is pretty fun. So congratulations once again to CIMA. Nice lineup, and you got 2 million yen, I think. Why are we the premier news source for this? There needs to be an official translation for this kind of thing, I think. But
I didn't realize Lieutenant was back in Castel.
Yeah, I ran a Lieutenant Castel build with that Suyu told me to play, pro player Suyu, and I guess people are becoming more wise to it as well as time goes on. So there you go.
It makes sense. You get like a billion draws with the very fun fact. So yeah.
Yeah. And so, basically I crashed the Shadowverse University League by accident. They also had a little stall that was selling a bunch of like physical TCG merch. And I bought literally one of everything. So
nice.
Let me tell you what I got here, because it is very cool. Let me bring it up. I got a Dark Jean playmat, a Baron and Oh, sorry. Let me start over. I got a Dark Jean playmat, a Baron and Bunny playmat, a Sealong and Mizuchi playmat, a Castel playmat, and an Alice playmat, but it's a new Alice art. Not new art, but an art that's not in the digital game, which has a bunch of chibis of other cards surrounding it, kind of like Judith. So that's pretty cool.
It's one of those countdown artworks they posted before one of the patches.
Yes, exactly. I also got 4 storage boxes, one that has Vania on it, one that has Aurelia, one that has Kerberos, and one that has Orcus. And I bought a tapestry that has the promotional art of all of the convicts from Asval in a really cool flat coloring style that sort of reminds me of like a wanted poster, but not like a wanted poster, like a police lineup, which is pretty cool.
Fitting.
And I also got a Tekka power bank and a
Nice.
Moteo power bank. So
Nice.
let's go.
Okay.
I just recently got my hands on one of those Orcus storage boxes, but I had to track down those things through weird Japanese secondary websites, whereas you, Igni, you can just pick them up at the source.
I walked in. And also, when I was at the event, they gave all the spectators one Resurgent Legends promo pack. You know, like the one that isn't Evolve, but like the ones that are like purely cosmetic.
Yeah, it's a collectible physical packs, yeah.
And I got Vengeful Pact.
Nice.
So I tagged Jennifer Losi in it, and she thought it was really cool.
Aw.
She voice acts Vengeful Pact in English, so
Hog.
it was pretty sick. They did show. Oh my god! I accidentally played it. Sorry. Edit that out.
Edit out.
They did on the back of the pack. There was a list of all the other possible pulls, but it's in Japanese, so just assume it's like one legendary per class and then a neutral. So do your typical promotional pack stuff. Oh yeah, very cool.
They do make those promotional packs in English, but they're very uncommon.
Yeah, and you have to get them in events. So yeah, it's kind of hard to get. And then the same day as the University League, I met up with a bunch of pro players from both the digital and the physical game. We went to an arcade. Well, not really an arcade. It was like a cafe themed as an arcade. And we also went to karaoke, which was nice. That's unrelated. I'm just flexing now.
Nice.
I'm very happy you've been having so much fun, Igni.
Thank you.
No invites.
And later that day, this is a bit of a leak. I went to lunch, or I went for drinks at the Final Fantasy XIV cafe with the developer of another card game, and maybe that might lead to something in the future, question mark. Let's see.
You were doing business meetings? Not even just in Shadowverse, just
Yeah, man. Today is the first day that I feel like I'm not working, and I am because I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I have been working every single day I've been here alongside doing my travels. This is technically a business trip after all.
I thought you were just shopping and drinking this whole time.
Nope. I was working this whole time, including today.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, to be fair, you were shopping, but you were doing business while shopping.
That's true. We'll get into that in a bit. Because after I had drinks with the developer of another card game, which we'll see if that leads to anything, I popped by Chris's Vanguard event, which happened literally the day after Worlds. Chris, workaholic, I guess, put on another Worlds, put on Worlds 2 right after
It is insane how busy Chris has been this month.
No, that's for real,
yeah.
though. And he did it at the Red Bull Gaming Sphere, which is a really cool space in Nakano, and I popped by right at the very end. So I didn't help with anything. I just popped by and was like, hello, and then I left. So that's pretty cool. All right, now we go into what happened yesterday. I just stopped by a bunch of different stores, and I thought it was a good idea to, as a Shadowverse English Edition ambassador, give them my promotional evolution point. So if you guys didn't know, all the ambassadors have a promotional evolution point, which you can actually use in tournaments and stuff, which like is a thing that you get when you go second to help you evolve your cards. And mine has my face on it. So I know for a fact that some stores in Japan put their promo cards up in the display cases, and they do it for the Japanese ambassadors. So I thought I'll try and make a connection, even though my Japanese is bad, and I'll stop by a bunch of stores. Chris made a note of a bunch of stores he recommends in different areas of Tokyo, so I just followed that basically. And I went shopping at the same time as introducing myself to the store owners. Some of them went really well. They were super happy. They were super grateful. Some of them went not so well because of language barrier, I guess. Like, they literally didn't know what I was talking about. And they're like, why is this guy giving me a card of his face on it? He's crazy.
Oh, you made this? Oh, that's cute.
Spectacular to watch.
Thanks.
Just handing out Evo points like their business cards.
Basically is what I've been doing, yeah.
Question.
But it's also like a promotional card to put in the case, yeah.
How many of those Evo points did they give you total?
400.
Whoa.
I'm giving them out. Tonko, if I ever send anything to you, I'll give you one too.
Nice. Yeah, I was just about to ask, when do we get one?
Caleb, you too. If you ever meet at a con, hey, if you ever end up wanted to take a look at an Evolve event, come meet with me. I'll give you a full playset, both of you.
I can have a framed picture of Igni.
Oh
Hell
my god!
Get it
But
created.
yeah, some went really well. Like the store owner came out, was like, "Oh my god, thank you," shook my hand and all that. And some they were just like, okay. And some they were just like, what? So, but that's not on the store. That's on me for just like not speaking Japanese well enough. So I had a bit of a mixed bag experience. But still, I think it was good to try and make that connection, right? So we did our best, boys.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
I was out, yeah, exactly. And while I was out, I also bought a bunch of stuff like sleeves and playmats and stuff. So it was a fun experience either way. And then today, today was weird because I was planning on doing nothing all day, but then I went on the Shadowverse Evolve Discord, and the admin of the Discord said that he was sad because he was spending the rest of his Japan trip sick in a bed, and he couldn't go out to get medication. So I just DM'd him and said, "Where are you staying? I'll go buy medication for you." So
that's so sweet.
My plan was originally just to stay in the Ikebukuro area, but he was staying nearer to Akiba. So I decided, okay, I'll just go to him. So I bought some painkillers and I gave him my lozenges as well and a couple of multivitamins. And then since I was already there, I was like, okay, well, I'm near Akiba.
Did you give him Evo points?
He looked really sick. I wanted to get the transaction done as soon as possible so that he could go rest.
But I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he would have felt a lot better if you gave him Evo points.
Okay, I think I did give him Evo points in the con, on the day.
Oh, okay.
I hope. If I didn't, then come see me again in the next event. But yeah, I just wanted to, we're on the same community here, so like I had nothing else to do. So
yeah, you went on a quest. That's nice.
I got a side quest. Reputation plus. So then while I was in the area, I was like, okay, I'll go back to Akiba anyway. And it's a good thing I did because there was a couple of stores I didn't visit yet, and both of these went super well. So that's really nice. And then on my way back from one of the stores, I just saw the cafe was the Shadowverse Flame Cafe.
Yeah.
It was right next to the store I was going to.
It was fate.
So yeah, exactly. It was like instant karma, I did my good deed for the week. Yeah, that's right. The rest of the week, I'm pure evil. I did the good deed for the week. And then I was instantly rewarded by going to Shadowverse Flame Cafe. And they had standees with the three main girls in maid outfits. And they also had...
Absolute win.
They had merch with the boys also in butler outfits, including like can badges, clear files, standees. I got the collab exclusive clear file with all of the characters in their butler and maid outfits, so that's really cool. I wanted to commemorate that I got the exclusive collab stuff. And what I ordered was the light Tenryu drink, of course.
You got the drink light.
It's like a blue... It's like basically just the food and the drink was honestly... It was okay. But, you're there for the experience, right? Like, it wasn't bad. It was good,
usually the pop-up cafe food is just okay, but it's more so for the merchandise and the vibe.
Oh, but this is an actual cafe.
Oh, it's not even a pop-up?
It's not a pop-up. It's an actual cafe that does regular collabs with different IPs. So it's an actual place.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, like I said, the food and drink was good. It just wasn't like, you're there mostly for the experience, but like I'm glad that the food and drink was good because I have been to some... I won't name names, which have given me like food poisoning. So
I'm happy for you, Igni, but I'm seething because I'm so jealous.
I know. I messaged Vice as well, and Vice was so jealous that I took a picture with the sword girl. And he was so yeah. So the food and drink was actually good. Don't get me wrong, but like you're there for the collab, right? So. I got the light Tenryu drink, which was like a blue drink with 7-Up with whipped cream and like cherry syrup on the top. It was pretty good.
Sounds wild.
Or was it strawberry syrup? Something like that. And then I also got the 7th Flame Yakisoba, which is literally just yakisoba with the 7th Flame flag on it. And then I also got a bunch of free merch from that, like coasters with Light and Subaru and Ryoga, like a Ryoga postcard. So it was pretty sick. And they also entered me into a lottery to win potentially a poster signed by the entire cast. But they said they would announce the results on their Twitter, and I'm probably not going to be in Japan for that. So what I did was I stopped by the card store that Chris is doing his off-kai at, and I gave it to him. There you go.
Perfect.
So maybe he can win a poster. But also, speaking of that, this is the last update for the day. This is literally what happened right before I went into the hotel to record this podcast. I went into that store where Chris was doing his off-kai with his members and YouTube subs. And that was my first time ever playing a physical card game at a card store. So, my cherry has been popped. I've been fully transformed into a physical player.
You finally got the full experience. I'm so proud.
Yeah. And this is the final thing I'll say in terms of my travel update, and it's not even really related to my travel, but I'm shocked by how balanced Shadowverse Evolve is, because I fought Orcus Puppet Forest, which is one of the top meta threats, at least in some JP metas, and I won with a step 3 Jabberwock deck. So, granted, I did get a little lucky, but still, it's incredible how well some of these cards hold up throughout the set releases, man. I'm so happy that this game's just working out on all cylinders.
Imagine the other guys like, this is just bullshit. He got so lucky. He got triple Oracle.
No. I was playing with a fan, and they were very, very gracious. So very thankful. But I did get Oracle into Conflagration, into Fervor, into Jabberwocks.
Yeah, the power creep in Shadowverse Evolve is very low. At least they've done a really good job of maintaining power creep. At least ever since Umamusume ruined everything.
Right, but with the English edition, they also pre-restricted Umamusume.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just completely different. And then
they learned a lot. Yeah.
I'm just so shocked because I was playing a set 3 meme deck, and I was able to edge a win out against an Orcus Forest meta deck in the JP format. And I'm like, this game is maybe the most well-balanced game I've ever played. That's incredible. Oh,
and there isn't even a rotation or anything, and there's no need for rotation. It's just everything just happens to be designed, and everything's designed appropriately.
Obviously it's anecdotal, and it was only one game, so don't take my word as gospel here. But I'm just if the power creep was as evident as some other card games power creep is, I would have felt an immediate disadvantage, right?
Yeah,
but,
you didn't even get bulldoze or anything. Even if you did get lucky, even if you weren't lucky, you would still be able to keep up moderately okay.
Yeah, so good game. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the ambassador. I'm saying that because it's literally lit a new passion inside of me for this genre of game that I previously didn't know about. So yeah, hell yeah. So that's my trip so far. What do we think? Any comments? Any constructive criticism?
Constructive criticism.
Impressed you've been able to get around so much, do so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, dude, I'm so tired.
And Japan sounds so fun.
Japan is amazing. But like I said, this trip has been 99% business.
I have never visited Japan, and I kind of don't even trust myself in Japan because I would buy so much dumb shit.
Your wallet would not survive.
I would buy all the playmats, all the sleeves, all the anime figures I could get my grubby hands on.
I'll tell you right. Oh, by the way, I also visited the world's largest anime store, Animate, in Ikebukuro, so that was fun.
Ooh. Nice.
And I also popped by the Rage Cafe, which is a cafe made by the tournament organizer Rage, which does all of the Shadowverse big leagues in Japan. So,
I didn't even know they had a cafe, specifically a Rage Cafe.
They opened it 2 weeks ago. Literally just 2 weeks ago. It's new. So it's also a LAN center, I think. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Japan is cool. Go to Japan.
Maybe I could have gone to Japan if I
Japanese government.
Maybe I could have gone to Japan if I didn't spend all my money on anime figures already. Spend all this extra money importing figures instead of just buying them from the source.
Honestly, Tanko, if you made it to Worlds to just hang out and travel Japan with all the Vanguard and Shadowverse guys, that would have made me so happy. You got it. Come on.
Of course I wasn't able to this time because I had work, but
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, for sure.
dude, I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't done anything. Like I've been so stressed out. I took the week off is because I was sad. I was jealous seeing so many people I knew posting about their experience in Japan and at Worlds. It's like, oh
What a
man,
fun trip.
I could be there. I should have been there.
Like, despite me working 99% of this trip, I still had a lot of fun. Like, and yeah, it's been great. So I gotta see Tonko at a real event someday, right? Like,
One of
it's
these
gotta
days,
happen.
yeah.
Now that we're both physical TCG guys, we gotta. Okay.
I mean, no one has seen me physically though, so I would just like watch. I would just like look around the entire time, just not, and I'll be like, I'll just be in the background. And after the event, I'll be like, Igni, you didn't say hi to me.
Well, Tonko, you've seen me, and also I'm so tall that you would just like see my head pop up from the sea of, and you could come right to me. Don't worry about it.
You could probably spot me as the shortest guy there. You could probably be like, oh, that's Tonko.
They just come up to me and like attack my shins like a. It'll be good.
Rude.
No, but like I'm tall for Japan, but I recently met Top Deck Heroes, and he's like too tall, man.
Oh,
Like,
dude, he's a giga Chad. Oh my goodness.
and like honestly, I was so happy because I talked to a lot of the Vanguard guys, and they said they might be doing some stuff for Evolve in the future. Maybe. So don't hold me to that, but like the fact that the game is growing and might be like expanding to even more people in the future is so exciting to me.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, I was so happy to meet another tall person."
I have my fill of that in Japan between me, Chris, and East, who are all approximately the same height. So,
But yeah, that's why I'm so happy that Chris is an ambassador for Shadowverse Evolve, because there's a good amount of overlap between Vanguard fans and Shadowverse fans. At least there should be, and Chris's existence is there to help bridge that gap.
exactly. I mean, it's just smart, right? Chris is there to bridge the gap from other Bushy games, and I'm there to bridge the gap from digital, and it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's quite fitting.
but I will say that this is gonna sound like bragging, but I was legit really flattered and very humbled by the fact that so many people came up to me and like asked for my EP and asked for my autograph, and I'm like, what the frick? Like, you guys 99% of the year are like lines on a screen to me, and now like I'm meeting you in real life.
Whoa.
And it's like so heartwarming, and it's like touching my soul. And I'm like, I'm so happy.
It also hits different because you haven't gone to a physical event like this in a while, have you?
Exactly, yeah, since the pandemic. So this is my first offline event since the pandemic, and I'm like, I miss this so much. Like actually seeing the people and them saying stuff like, "Oh, I really love your content. You're the reason why I got into this game." And I'm like, I'm gonna freaking cry, man. Like, I'm so happy right now. So yeah, it was just an amazing trip in general. And now I'm here doing this podcast in my hotel room instead of exploring Japan. So thanks for that, guys. Good stuff.
Well, I'm happy for you.
You don't have to sound so bitter about it. Just come out to the next event. One day when I know you've been busy with work though, so get well soon.
Was actually a question. Was Worlds like open? Was it open to like the public? Could like the public like go in to watch? Okay, no. Okay.
There was no spectator area for Worlds, unfortunately, and I know why. It's because it was like 5+ games in one venue, so like it was.
Dude, I didn't realize Worlds was just gonna be one day. So
yeah, one day, one venue for all of the games the same time. Like it was hectic, right?
Yeah,
so,
when I saw it on the stream, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go into top 8. I thought, oh, you're gonna decide top 8 for day 2. No, we're going to finish the whole thing today. Oh.
Yep, it was pretty crazy.
You must have been,
and
you must have been so tired.
Yeah, I was. It was. I actually have a funny story about this. So this is the most embarrassing story for me that's happened to me in a while. So after I casted Worlds, I ran into KMR. I was like, "Oh, Kimura-san," and he looked at me like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't know how to speak Japanese, but I'll go ahead and sign my EP and hand it to him, right?" And so I handed him my EP, and he looked at it, and he was like, what do you want me to do with this? You want me to sign this? And I'm like, no, I just wanted you to take it. But, And he's like, oh,
So
okay.
this ne.
And then, well, okay, so I want to preface this by saying this is entirely my fault for not knowing the language, right? Like, it's not on him that I couldn't communicate, properly, right? But he just reluctantly put the EP in his wallet, and I'm like, I think he doesn't fully understand what I meant. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I turned to the person beside him, and who I assume is also, a Psy Games person, and I just tried to introduce myself in broken Japanese, like, oh, yoroshiku onegai shimasu, hajimemashite. And then and because I was so tired, right, from casting, my pronunciation was bad and my pauses were long and all that. And then she looks at me and smiles and then responds in perfectly fluent.
Yep. Yeah, there we go.
Hello, Ignideus. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm on the same team that you've been working with for the past 7 years. And I'm like, internally, I want to die.
Oh, that must have been just grand.
Every time you interact with KMR, it's like it's like a canon event.
The elevator.
I want to walk into the sea and never return. And then I was like,
familiar with that.
Oh, and then I felt awkward, right? So I was like, dude, I pointed to my EP and I was like, do you want one? So then I signed it and gave it to her, and she was like, oh, thanks. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I'm like, well, likewise, I hope we can work for many years to come, work together for many years to come. That part was fine, right? And then I turned to the person beside her, and I said, hello, my name is Ignideus, in English. And she did not speak.
Oh, it's just a perfect round trip.
I was like, oh. Then I just signed another EP.
Oh my god.
And she was like, oh, arigato gozaimasu. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And then the woman who could speak English, I don't want to name any names, obviously. I don't want to, because they're not, they're behind the scenes people, right? So she's like, do you want KMR to sign a card? And internally I'm like, that's not what I came here for. But I feel awkward saying no, so sure. So I gave KMR a card, which, by the way, is just an evolution point with my face on it.
Oh my god, no way!
That's the only card you had on you, so
That's so rough.
He gave it back, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Oh.
And I apologized for being very tired, and she was like, no problem. She was very, very kind. She was very kind. So, like I said, this interaction is literally entirely my fault for not speaking Japanese and being tired at the time. But I was like, okay. And then I walked out, and I was like, somebody shoot me in the head with a gun right now,
bro.
Please.
Okay.
The worst day of my life.
Okay, Igni, that solidifies it. You gotta do your reps. You gotta hit the books, dude, for next year.
Yeah, I gotta learn Japanese, man.
You'll get them next year. Third time's a charm.
That hurt physically, I think. I took psychic damage also from that.
I was like
on me, as I said, but it was hilarious.
as I was listening to that story, I was physically recoiling into my chair. Oh man.
I exited the backstage area and I just sat down in one of the player chairs, and I'm like, man. I want to go back to the hotel, man. Anyway, it's a funny story now, but at the time I'm like, Dad, this is bad. This is bad. I gotta get out of here, bro.
It's like, oh, my career is over. I missed I fumbled again with KMR.
Oh,
next time, though.
And the worst part is, before this interaction happened, I almost literally ran into him because I was running from the main area into the backstage area, and I literally almost bumped into him. Dude, you would see a Wile E. Coyote-esque smoke trail by the amount of the sheer force by which I planted my heels into the ground to stop myself from running into it. And I was like, oh, you would have said. And then I bowed really deep and I apologized. And he just looked at me like, oh, okay. But I did almost literally crash into him, and I'm like, am I gonna get fired?
He's like, who is this intern?
Oh no. Anyway, So that fuck, man.
Fuck, dude.
Anyway, that's my Japan travel experience, boys. Let's move on to the next topic, which is of course the question of the week. And we talked a little bit about Shadowverse Worlds Beyond on the previous episode. So our question of the week was, what's your biggest wish / speculation for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond? And we did get quite a few responses. So let me read you some of the replies on YouTube, Discord, as well as Twitter. So first of all, biggest wish, this is from Kirzael, Killshot Potato, over on Discord. Biggest wish, all leaders from SV1 making it into the game with new and revamped effects as well as more opponent interaction. So yeah, I think that's like on a lot of people's minds right now. Is my cosmetics?
Yeah, good luck with that though.
It is a big wish.
I mean, I'm sure.
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I'm sure most of the leader characters are going to come back to Shadowverse Evolve. Not Evolve. We spent this entire time talking about Evolve. I mean, Worlds Beyond. I'm sure they're going to come back in some fashion in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, but they're not gonna. I'm positive they're not gonna directly transfer. I'm sure they're gonna be drip fed over time over the years.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be all at once at the beginning. I'd be very pleasantly surprised if it was, though.
I'm very curious about what the actual porting feature is going to be with leaders, like what cosmetic you're going to get. Because I don't think it'll be leaders. It's pretty obviously not going to be you get your leaders that are available, like non-collab leaders ported to the game. It'll be some flavor of cosmetic, maybe sleeves, emblems, or for the lobby mode avatars, perhaps.
Yeah, potentially.
I'd love to know what it's going to be, and I would definitely like to know what it's going to be before Worlds Beyond comes out. Don't want to wait till game's actually out to find out what those are.
Yeah, especially because it's like the biggest question on everybody's mind, right? So
did Mr. Potato Killshot guy mention something about like opponent interactions? Like, what did he mean by that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people on my Discord were also talking about quick spells. So, for example, Weeb on my Discord says, that's an easy one. Quick spells. If late Shadowverse has shown us anything, the card game can't sustain itself without power creep, through all the power creep, without giving your opponent the chance to do something about it. If we get quick spells that are going to prevent the extremely common OTKs in the current game, then Worlds Beyond is going to be sick.
Okay, I don't think that's necessarily the thing that would prevent power creep. Because you could easily power creep to the extent where the quick plays become too powerful, where it becomes Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's true. I agree with that.
And Ash Blossom in Shadowverse.
The reason why I don't think there's gonna be quick effects or quick spells in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond is the same. I've said this before about regular Shadowverse. I think the reason why they don't do quick effects is because having to wait or check for the opponent to respond just kind of kills the pace of the game. Where it's perfectly fine in physical TCG like Shadowverse Evolve, obviously, because there's an easier back and forth. You say there's an easier back and forth between opponents, but when you're in a digital format, it's a bit inconvenient where you have to there has to be like a window for the opponent to respond, or there's like a
like it happened in Legends of Runeterra, right? Like you have to have like a timer, and then like you have to give your opponent the opportunity to think about their quick response, and like it's much harder in a digital format to implement such a feature.
Runeterra does it pretty well. Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel is a nightmare when there's a lot of quick plays to consider. Games can last for a really long time because there's so much stuff there's so many things to check, to read through, to time for. And I think the reason why, not just because of the pace, I think another reason why Shadowverse doesn't do quick effects is because connection issues. When you're playing a mobile game, and if the opponent has a quick effect and they have a bad internet connection, it just drags down the pace even more. Again, it happens all the time for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, where the opponent is on their phone and you have to wait at every single check timing for them to reconnect to say, no, I don't want to respond or whatever. So yeah.
Brutal.
And we also have a comment from the Discord, several comments to the same effect of I want more Shadowverse original characters. So this one in particular is from Thunderbolt. I wish a lot of cards would feature Shadowverse original characters, not from Rage of Bahamut, not only characters from the original cast like Orisa, but also story mode characters like Mono, and themed expansion characters like the Ultimate Coliseum champions and their followers. I know Aragavi is confirmed to return, and I'd love to see Aragavi reunited with his original friend group, including Bear Pelt Warrior and Antelope Pelt Warrior. Okay.
Shirtless gang.
Well, I don't know about the Pelt gang. I don't know about that, but yeah, we know that Aragavi is back. But yeah, several comments are talking about more Shadowverse original guys.
Yeah, there's no way there's no way they're not gonna bring back all the original guys, and of course, obviously, they're gonna make more original characters.
I hope so too, but like, of course, they're also going to bring back ROB guys too. We already seen Albert, we already seen Orcus, right? But like, having more Shadowverse guys to like make the IP stand on its own legs more is a sentiment I can agree with, especially because it's a game that also has a lot of collaborations. So if it doesn't have original characters, it kind of risks not having its own identity as well, which is like kind of a thing, right?
What's cool about the ROB guys though is that even if they're old characters, the ones that we saw, they all have new artwork that wasn't in Rage of Bahamut. So they might be old characters, but they still have entirely fresh new stuff specifically for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond.
And there's also another really interesting comment here from the Discord from Crossell. I hope Worlds Beyond expands on its single-player content. For example, seeing chain battles, which started appearing in recent quest events, become a permanent feature would be great.
Yeah, we talked about that.
To include different deck-building formats, maybe even one of its own. Maybe even include some dynamic scenarios a la story mode, essentially turning it into an arcade mode to tag with the core game's versus mode. But most of all, make it the rewards worth playing the mode continuously, not just have them be kneecapped versions of what you would get from playing ranked. Things like unique leaders that are added rotated regularly, or even so much as being eligible for victory rewards would go a long way to making the solo content more appealing.
Yeah.
I think more solo content would be fantastic, but you would have to find a way to do it because, okay, I'm just going to reference another sad event here, yet again. Legends of Runeterra had a solo mode where you didn't have to pay anything, and it was so much more played than the ranked mode that the competitive scene of that game died. So, not only that, well, obviously there's other problems with that game, like, mismanagement and like missed opportunities and stuff like that. But like, they would have to do it in a way that doesn't fracture the player base, if you know what I mean, like, right? So that there's no like the solo and PvP don't become like two distinct camps and the game like, becomes divided in a way.
That's the entire reason why crosscraft or rotation selection or whatever, that's the entire reason why those aren't full entire formats, is because it would fracture the player base even more.
The player
base. True. Yeah. So, I mean, it would be great if they could find some implementation to make more solo content, but it would have to be done in a way that's taking into consideration the long-term health of the game, is my 2 cents about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, the main thing, I really want to see a full version of chain battles. I want to see that so bad, but...
Dude, I would pay $20 for just a standalone chain battle game. I'm not even joking.
I think it would be really difficult to reach that extreme that you're thinking, the extreme of, oh yeah, the single player is so good that it overpowers the multiplayer aspect. I think that's really difficult to achieve.
Well, we've seen it happen with another game. So
yeah, but Runeterra
is on my mind more.
Yeah, Runeterra is an extreme example. I don't know too much about Runeterra because I only played it for a couple of months, like several years ago, but I can totally understand how single player overpowered the meta, because in the case of Runeterra, there wasn't really any huge incentive to play in multiplayer, because in Runeterra you just have to grind in general, whether it be single or multiplayer. I don't think Shadowverse necessarily has that same issue.
All right. We also got some comments over from the YouTube community. A lot of people saying that I just wish the game would be the same free-to-play friendliness as the original game. So Excelia says that. My wish is the game to be free-to-play friendly, the same as SV1. Marinosuke says, keep it free-to-play friendly and don't mess with the art. I don't think they're messing with the art. The art looks great from what we saw, so don't worry about that.
I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about censorship, which I mean, it seems that they're using all new artwork. So.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I hear the argument on both sides about that one, and I do get it. My personal opinion on it is that I wish they would just have a toggle, but
yeah. My
anyway.
Personal opinion as a crewmer is that
oh no,
censorship can be pretty annoying, and it does mess with the artist's original intent, but it's not that big of a deal as long as it's decent, as long as it's done well. If it's tasteful censorship, if it's not,
Shadowverse has not been super jarring. I feel like
no, there's a lot of them that are real bad, where it's like really lazy. Like for example,
I think some of them have been pretty low tier, but on the other hand, there's also the censorship from the Chinese version with things like skeletons, where it turns out looking better.
Yeah, with the flowers coming out of them. Yeah, that's very cool.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that.
Especially a card like Mordecai. Mordecai goes from having a skull to a helmet with horns that looks hella cool.
I don't really mind that much, but I do understand why some people would be pissed off about it. Like, fair enough. But but again, the free-to-play friendliness aspect. I mean, I really hope that they stick with the way it is right now in the main game, right? Because that's one of the biggest draws of Shadowverse, is that it's accessible for people to get into. And if they lose that aspect in the next game, I think there'll be a real shame, and I think a huge missed opportunity. So I agree with these people.
I just want to mention for the censorship thing was just one big example I can think of that's like a really bad case of them trying to censor. You know Rooney? Do you understand what she's even wearing?
I don't even remember the outfit. It's like a blue and purple thing, right?
It's like in Rooney's original Resurgent Bahamut artwork, it's like, yeah, she had cleavage, she had a really short skirt or whatever, and censoring that's whatever, that's not a huge deal. But like, what they did to her doesn't even make any sense. Like, she's just wearing a bundle of loose cloths that she got from like a Goodwill or something, from a thrift store. Like, what is that drip?
I think in general, though, like, if the censorship is done better, it's not that big a deal. But I feel like, I agree with you. If it like looks ugly, that's the main problem, right?
If it's inoffensive, like one of my favorite kinds of censorship was Amelia. Amelia, she went from having like a leotard thing to short pants, like hot pants, and the shorts
made her butt look bigger.
The shorts are so much better.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that's what it comes down to, right? Like, nobody wants to see ugly art in their game.
Yeah.
So,
and like,
as long as it looks okay.
One thing to note with the original Shadowverse that probably won't be available for Worlds Beyond, just because it's going to be a far more up-to-date engine, is the modding community for Shadowverse 1 is still alive to this day, and almost exclusively just to uncensor cards. That mod has been kept up to date for the better part of 8 years. And that's probably not going to be around in Worlds Beyond. I just don't imagine that the engine's going to allow it to the same extent that the current Unity engine is for Shadowverse.
Oh, but that's
so it's going to be
speculation. We can't really like expound upon that too much, because like we have no clue what the new engine
whether
even
or
is.
not modding is going to return.
We'll see.
And
anyway.
even then, there's going to be more original Shadows artwork. At least I assume there's going to be more original artwork compared to Resurgent Bahamut copies, so it's not going to be a whole lot of uncensored artwork available anyway.
But free-to-play friendliness, what do you think?
I it's going to be fine. I imagine that it's still going to be free-to-play friendly, but I'm hoping that there's still just enough ways to monetize for me to spend money and keep the game alive.
I think
give me a reason to want to spend money on the game.
That's what the overworld avatar is, bro. You gotta pay $500 for your bucket hat that says, I play Portal Craft, please be patient, or whatever.
I don't know what the upper limit on money I would spend for a Gargora outfit for my avatar is.
Whoa,
I don't know.
Whoa.
It might be $500.
God damn, bro.
I will spend all the money if you give me Junko from Zombieland Saga.
Yeah.
We kind of saw Junko in the trailer.
Yeah, at least I can make my own custom avatar that looks like her at the very least.
Now we have one that is a little bit out of left field, but from I don't think I've seen anybody else say this. From Deca Poke on YouTube, I am quite sure I will be alone in this, but I wish for the fishing minigame to actually be super hard to play.
What?
Kinda base.
I'm a massive Yakuza fan, and the fishing minigame in Yakuza 3 to 5 is my ideal kind of fishing game. It requires precise timing to pull in the fish, and you have to act accordingly to the fish movement, or else your line will snap. The best way to describe how to feel to catch fish in this game is like a deadly struggle between you and the fish. The excitement and pure bliss after overcoming the fight truly cannot be described. This minigame gave me challenges I long for in a fishing minigame, unlike the snooze fest most fishing minigames every video game has nowadays. So I hope that other people can experience the rush I had with that game too.
Bro, I've done fishing in real life. It's not that hard.
I love this comment so much.
This man fishes to come.
Evil.
This
No,
man-
there ain't no
this
way
man
you
fishes,
said that
bro.
about it.
Women
Bro.
want me fish, fear me, bro.
This guy
So
is very cultured, and I respect it, but it's not gonna be that deep, bro.
I don't think it's going to be that hard. I think even the 5-star, 6-star fishes are not going to be that hard. So sorry, this is not base fishing pro simulator 2024. But
It would be very fun if there is like actual sweaty fishing involved, but it's just a cute little bonus game. I'm not expecting anything out of it.
I hope it's not like AFK automatic fishing. I do want at least something that is gameplay in the fishing minigame, because some games have fishing where it's just cast your line and you will automatically get the fish. Some have DDR minigames. You can mess up fishing minigames if you try.
what I want it to be is just like something you can do that isn't completely mindless, but you can also just do it while chilling with your friends on the pier. Because that's the point, is to give like a social feature as a side benefit of playing the card game, you know?
If you catch me in the lobby, I will be fishing wearing my Australian style bucket cork hat. I'll be out there. I'll be out there catching them mermaids.
Speaking of fishing, we also have from Twitter at Echo CVZ, who I think is a Vanguard player, commented, "I want a fishing mini game. I will not elaborate." And then I replied, "I have good news for you." And they replied, "Ain't no way." And then a picture of an anime girl spitting out their tea.
Bro.
That anime girl is also from Vanguard.
Yes.
Well,
We also have Store Meow VTuber, who mentioned something that we mentioned last time: no split format, no UL or rotation, similar to Shadowverse Evolve. Don't be hesitant to buff, nerf cards, or even restrict them in order to ensure some balance. This is coming from an SVE observer and not even a player. So yeah.
Well, maybe you should be playing. Get on that.
Get on it. All right.
You know, just wait, before we go too far, I want to add a bit to the fishing discussion.
Okay, here we go.
Because you know what I want? What I want them to do with the fishing minigame is to really make it into a whole like collectible thing. We could find not just like fish or Shadowverse fish cards, just a bunch of weird Easter eggs. For example, you know how in like fishing games where you get trash, you get like some old boots or whatever. I want to fish up some gilded boots, or I want to fish up some weird Shadowverse cards.
Fish up Wizardess of Oz's sword or something. Oh, she was never the same ever since.
The fishing minigame in Skyrim gets it right. You don't want fish, you want the treasure that you can find around the fish.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are putting a lot of expectation on this fishing minigame. Guys, it's a card game, bro. The fishing minigame is a side feature.
Well, maybe it should be a fishing game.
Oh, no. All right. Let's see what else we got on Twitter. A lot of the same stuff, like transferring leaders, free to play, quick spells. A lot of people have the same sentiment. Sora Kasugano, fellow Shadowverse content creator, says, I want a Worlds Beyond Mahjong tournament. Okay.
Same. My man.
Yeah. And also some people say, I can't find the comment right now, but I know I saw somebody say at one point, I want to be able to see what deck the opponent was playing after my game. Oh, here it is. Kinez, at Rai, bunch of numbers. Let me check my opponent's deck after the match. Master Duel lets you do this, and there's no better feeling than seeing that bro sauce you up with some other trash.
No, dude, that's the funniest part of playing Master Duel, where like you're playing against this meme, or sometimes you just get your turn one combo, just win right there. You look at the opponent's deck, and it's like, what even is this? What even is this tier 5 pile of garbage?
Yeah.
Respect for bringing that, but what did he mean by this?
It's pretty
that's
sick.
currently not a feature in Shadowverse. You can't actually see a one-to-one deck list of what your opponent's playing using the replay menu. And I loved back in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I'd play decks that didn't actually use the extra deck at all, but my opponent could see my deck after the ranked game. So I just put in my best or stupidest cards to the extra deck.
You just flex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. That's a feature that I can get behind for sure. All right. Well, now that we talked about the viewer responses, what about you guys? What do you want from Shadowverse Worlds Beyond the most?
I feel like I feel like that was like the main topic of last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we already established that.
Last
Yeah.
week.
That's true. That was the main topic of last week. Give me some fucking flag, okay?
I want fishing game Easter eggs. That's what I want the most.
You know what I want? Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. Modding support for Worlds Beyond that lets us mod in cards for private matches.
That's so
It's a long shot.
That's not
ever happening, bro. I'm
But
telling you.
imagine if you could, though. That'd be sick.
Since we already talked, look, listen, okay, I'm in Japan and I'm tired. Give me a break. But if I had to pick one more speculation, considering I forgot that I asked this question last week for you, give me big Dark Souls type boss fights in the dungeon crawling mode.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to fight like Lucifer and have like 12 health bars pop up, and it's like Lucifer, first of the fallen. He's like doing crazy moves on me.
You know what? Story mode has a bunch of crazy boss fights with cheating mechanics. I want to see more encounters like that outside of story mode. We get them in quests.
Those are usually the final bosses in chain battles. So
we get them in quest. We get them in quest mode. We get them in chain battles, but those are temporary formats that just come like once, like twice a year, maybe. I want to see stuff like that pop up more often.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for the question of the week for this week. But we do, of course, have a question of the week for next week. And next week is about when the promotion should start for the Resurgent Legends mini set, if historic records are to be believed. So the question is, what archetype do you hope gets supported by the Resurgent Legends mini set? Or like, what deck do you want supported the most in the Resurgent Legends mini set coming up very, very soon? So let us know in the comments down below. I'll make a Twitter post, I'll make a YouTube post, and of course you can let us know in the comments of the video and in the Discord as well. And you might get your response read on the podcast like today. There you have it. And that's it for the podcast, I think. So any final words?
I gotta go pee. Bye.
Okay.
I'm going to go to bed and play Dark Souls in my sleep because that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's hell. I'm trapped.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go get dinner, I think.
Thank you, Igni, for pulling up during your not even vacation, but your trip.
Yeah, thank you. It doesn't feel like a vacation. I've been working.
Yeah. I appreciate you taking the time. I'll try my best to edit this and put this out within a timely fashion.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Send Tanko your spirit energy to the past.
Watch this episode. Watch this episode come out on like February 20th.
I'm also gonna come back with notes on stuff you should edit out. Like that time I said that don't play card games to come.
Ain't no way.
Get that part off.
We'll see about that. I'm the one with the power.
Oh no. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We are on all podcast platforms as well as youtube.com/Ignideus. Well, not all podcast platforms, but all the big ones: Amazon Music, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, of course. So subscribe on those platforms, or just stay tuned on the YouTube channel for Ignideus for next week's pod. And we'll be back same, well, maybe depending on when this comes out. But we'll be back recording on the same day at the very least. So tune in next week when we cover the Shadowverse Resurgent Legends mini set and our hopes for that set. So yeah, it'll be a fun discussion. But for now, I've been Ignideus. That's been Such Patanko.
I am Such Patanko.
Kalen.
And that's Kalen. But one of these days we'll find out how to end a podcast. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.